Yo, Summer Games Done Quick. How we doing?
Doing good.
Woo! I'll take it. My name is Cave, and I'm going to be showcasing SAROS today. With me, I got two people who will be very helpful in taking over when I got to lock in. So first, we have B-Dud5. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm a modern PlayStation speedrunner. I did some work on this game when it first came out like 2 months ago.
And then I also have Mr. Chaddington Duck.
Hi, I'm Chaddington Duck. I've been mostly a glitch hunter for this game, so Cave was nice enough to invite me, and I'm super excited to be here.
Yep, and with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this run. My understanding is we had an incentive for choosing the armor Arjun's wearing. And I think the right option won, by the way, but I need to hear Curry say it.
Give me 1 second to pull it up. Yep, the first option will be Astra at $390. Thank you.
Yep, shout out to you guys that donated for that. That was the right choice.
Thank you guys for the donation.
So, yep, now I'm just in, my Astra suit. Shout out to Returnal, also a great game from Housemarque. With that, we are going to jump into this run. The full title of this category is technically New Game Plus, all bosses, and then 4 variables following after. So I'm doing the glitched, seeded, modifiers, current patch version. If you want to look at the leaderboard for that, you might see something funny. Otherwise, all that means is I'm using a file where I have most of the stuff that matters unlocked. And we're also going to be able to use the Carcosan modifiers, which were something new Housemarque introduced to this game to make it a little easier for people. Casual playthrough, I didn't use any, but I want to go fast. So of course I'm going to add stuff like, absorbing more power or increasing all damage that I send out or decreasing damage I take. So that is the modifiers part of this run. With that, we are going to jump right in to the first biome, which is going to be Yellow Shore. I can do them in any order, really, outside of this first one. So if you have played SAROS and you have a certain boss that maybe you want to see sooner, go ahead and send in a donation saying you really want to see Prophet next or you really want to see Bastion. And that way, maybe I'll go ahead and do that next. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we can start the timer in 3, 2, 1.
Go. Good luck.
Ooh, forgot to go.
All right.
So right away, we're in Yellow Shore, which is actually the final biome. I'm going to send it over to Duck immediately to talk about some of the side room manipulations we're going to be utilizing here.
All right, so the first requirement to get through this Eclipse Gate here is you need to defeat 2 side rooms. That flying enemy he just killed, you might have missed it, but that counts as 1 side room, and then all these enemies here count as the 2nd side room. So there's a little bit of manipulation dragging that flying enemy all the way over.
Yeah, it essentially looks for a zone to be like, hey, you need to complete this side room, and then you go back to that main area, and it's like, okay, now we're going to do a lockdown, and then you can finish that lockdown to go to the next section of this game. So because of this seeded file, we're able to get that, we're able to get that side room instantly, and yeah. And
speaking of seeded, this is a chosen seed because of easy traversal here. There's a lot worse traversal that you can get when it's randomized. And in addition to that, in the 2nd lockdown area, there are 2 rooms that are connected to each other. So it's a lot easier to do that 2-room clear that you need to unlock the door.
Yeah, as a moderator for the game, I was pretty unconvinced about the need to separate seeded and unseeded because you can utilize PlayStation Plus cloud saves in order to create a seed for Yellow Shore specifically. I was pretty unconvinced until I found this seed specifically, and then I went ahead and made those categories. Just the mix of getting side room manipulations in both lockdown sections, and then also getting the very fast lockdown enemy spawns. This ends up being a seed where a good time I can get done in under 4 minutes.
Yeah, significantly faster.
Yeah, so that main room we just went to the left of, we'll have to go back there after we clear out this room. And then Cave's going to go back here, and this little room here counts as its own little side room. It was a thing that I discovered back at launch that, yeah, it's we thought that it was part of this room, but it does count doing that, and then this room right here counts as 2 triggers where he'll be able to go now. The lockdown will start right now. And he just has to finish the combat here, and it saves several minutes probably.
Yeah. Incredible that just three little enemies hiding in a closet over there actually ends up being its own separate room. Yeah.
This is also the return of the tutorial boss of the game, and we're just decimating it already. But yeah, this is New Game Plus, so like we're have it optimized as much as possible, have every upgrade. One of the big mottos of SAROS is like come back stronger, be able to do your permanent upgrades with Armor Matrix. So we're utilizing that as much as possible and showing off from a New Game Plus perspective, like how do you optimize the DPS of what SAROS has given us, like all capability-wise, you know. We're also
here you're going to see me doing the traversal sprint. You can only do this when there's no enemies around. It's the fastest way to move. Otherwise, you're going to see me doing dash melees. So just look out for that throughout the run. And now we got the first boss, King. B-Dub, you want to go ahead and talk about what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah, so King, this is a spectacle of fight. Normally it's the final boss, but we do it first because this is seeded. But what Cave is trying to do here is he's trying to use his power to use the power shot's prominence as much as possible, but he's also needing to use overdrive at a very specific time to clear out the phases when he knows that it'll finish. But basically, yeah, like we want to make sure that our adrenaline is at level 5 to be able to get our power quicker so he can do more of those shots. And the power is those like blue bars in the middle of the screen under his reticle. So we want to try to fill those as much as possible and keep sending those blasts. Overdrive is something that's going to take like several, like maybe like every like 20 seconds we'll be able to recharge it and fight it first, but hopefully we can finish off now with that. Cool.
Sweet. Curry, any biome? Anyone come up with a donation for a next boss?
Well, I don't see any here. Folks, if you want to donate to see the next boss, please let me know. But if you need one right now, how about we go for Architect? How's that sound?
Perfect.
Ooh.
All right.
Great choice.
All right.
And I've got some messages anytime you have some time.
Yeah, this next biome, I think we will be able. That's not Architect.
All right.
You can actually go ahead and start some of them now if you'd like.
Sure thing. $50 from Mental Toast. It makes me so happy to see you crushing another Housemarque game on the GDQ stage. Good luck on the run, and thank you for all your hard work you do for the community.
Shout out Toast.
Yeah, hey, Toast.
So a couple of things we can talk about now, I think, are going to be, since this is New Game Plus, we obviously have the chance to choose what weapon I'm using. So for this specific category, what we found to be the fastest for clearing out rooms and killing bosses is the Reapin' Chakram weapon and the Prominence power weapon. So B-Dub or Doug, you guys want to take over as far as like what makes those weapons good, how I'm using them, things like that?
Yeah, so one quick thing, one of the permanent upgrades that we have is to start with level 25 on our prominence. So we will have like our level will be tied to that prominence level, and because of that, we'll be able to have a few traits on our weapons. Like it's like every like 10 levels or like 7-10 levels
something like
that we
that.
get a trait. So two of the traits that we're looking for is kind of like the vacuum wave. It's going to be able to like suck in projectiles and like kind of do more damage around it. The other big one is like the bouncing chakrams, which will be able to like once we shoot every chakram, they're going to just keep like ricocheting off of them, and that really is what will do most of our damage with a lot of these bosses.
You can kind of see it there. It's that purple line that's bouncing all around the screen. That's the bouncing chakrams we're talking about.
Yeah, so what Cave's going to be constantly doing is he's going to be using kind of like the alt fire, which it uses the PS5's like adaptive triggers. Like it's not like a full L2 press as it was in Returnal, but instead in this game it's going to be a half press. So Cave is constantly doing that half press and then firing, and then once the chakram actually hits directly at the enemy, he does the alt fire aim again to retract it. And every time he does that, it's gonna send like another like bouncing chakram around and ricocheting more. So
he makes it look really easy too.
Yeah.
I personally have such a hard time with that. Half
Me too.
triple.
I always like either like full press it down, and Cave is really good at optimizing the DPS more than either of us could do it.
One thing you may have seen in this biome and then also in the last one were the solar cages. So we also call those lockdowns just because that's what they were called in Returnal. And essentially, when you are in those, you have to kill all the enemies in them to escape. Each biome has sort of a variable amount of how many you can get. So in Fortress, for example, where we're right now, a lucky fortress, you only get in 1 total, whereas an unlucky fortress, you get in 3. I think here we actually just got away with 1 lockdown fortress, which is exceptionally good. So definitely be on the lookout for those throughout each of the biomes.
It's also important to note that although the run started seeded, because it is sort of roguelike and it's randomized as you play through, only the first fight up to King is seeded, and then all of the rest of this, Cave is just doing pure skill. He's just winging it and like doing it because he's got so much experience. So
yeah, and again, why we have King seeded is because that with the side rim manipulation that we were explaining, that is the most like RNG heavy part of the run, and where you could lose the most time to just RNG factors of how the room generation goes.
Really? So now we're going to be climbing up to the boss of this biome, Architect. While we're doing that, I think we can actually read 1 or 2 more donations.
You betcha. We have $100 from HMQ Sinjin. Shout out to 3K from the Housemark dev team. Tis I, HMQ Sinjin, reminding you that if you break it, you buy it. Good RNG, and may the tentacles be with you. Many happy returnals to all from Finland.
Wow. Shout out Housemark. I will ask the developers to close their eyes in one of these future biomes, but besides that, love you guys.
thank you so much.
We have time for one more.
You got it. $100 from Peter and Grace. Finish SAROS just in time to marvel at this run. Best of luck to Cave. The sun is forever.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys donating. Make sure you keep it up. With that, we have Architect. So, B-Dub, you want to take this over for the little bit it lasts?
So this is a really cool boss. It's a very, like, it flies around a lot, though. And because we want to be, like, very close with our chakrams to do massive damage, we don't like it when Architect flies away. So, like, we are trying to do enough damage before he did that, like, flying away animation. Did it really fast, but we were able to finish off with an overdrive there to like clear out that first phase as soon as he came back. Second phase just gets demolished there, and now he's going to come back for the third phase, and we have our overdrive ready. So this should hopefully go quick once we get a good time for this. Very good. And another thing is like when Cave is doing overdrive. Like if he has the vacuum trait, the vacuum can actually like eat up the overdrive. We'll probably see another example in the boss.
It'll happen.
I'll be sure to point it out, but know that where you're aiming the overdrive matters. And sometimes like just the explosion radius will be enough, so we'll like aim it at the floor. But yeah, Architect, it's such a cool boss. It's really difficult casually too. Like
Casually took so many tries.
Bubble
It's
bounce.
Very cinematic.
oh, bubble bounce.
Oh, all right. So this is our first instance of bubble bounce. You can see right there. That's doing a dash and then a melee jump. And if you hold it, the hitbox of the bubble actually gets you a little bit more vertical speed than you normally would get just from doing regular jumps. So we use that in a couple different locations. You'll see that in later biomes too.
Yeah, there's literally only one room orientation where you can do it in this biome, and it's random if you get that. So shout out to the RNG for letting me show off bubble bounce one more time than I thought I would have been able to this run. Where we're in right now is Acolyte's Haven. This is also a pretty late game fight. The boss is spectacular here, so I'm super excited to get to Shepherd when we do. As far as like a lot of the room orientation things I'm looking out for, there are puzzle rooms scattered throughout this biome. This is actually the fresh file pattern, which is funny. So it has a nice little shortcut here that we like to use. But the main holdups with this biome in general that I'm trying to look out for are going to be those longer puzzle rooms. So hoping that we get like a good one. And then also we're hoping that we don't get any lockdowns. So I think this is going to be a lockdown room, which is unfortunate because as I mentioned earlier, you know, each biome has like a random chance of when you do get lockdowns or if you are at all. So ideally for Acolyte's Haven, you're getting none, but we got the one here. So a little bit of time lost, but not too bad. And now we're going to activate the Eclipse. We don't really talk about the Eclipse much because it doesn't matter much for this category, but it makes a lot of the enemies stronger and with different bullet patterns. But then it also rewards you with extra Lucenite, so there's sort of like a give and take in the mechanics. It also lets us access these Eclipse threads that you sort of grind on like a rail. But with that, we're able to just go right and do Shepherd. So you can go ahead and talk a bit about this boss, B-Dud.
Yeah, so Shepherd, this is like kind of a Cthulhu-inspired. Well, actually, I think like the lore kind of encourage or like, yeah, it kind of like encouraged Cthulhu and like the Lovecraft stuff later on, actually. But yeah, with this boss, we're gonna have to focus on the tentacles first. We're gonna have to destroy a few of them. They're gonna come and try to slide in and take us. But the blue projectiles are pretty important here too. Cave accidentally
Vacuum wave sucks.
That's what the vacuum wave is. It'll just like suck in the projectiles, but because of the like, we didn't really describe it, but one of the new things from Returnal is the shield here, and when we're using the shield, we're gaining power. We're filling up our blue bars when we're absorbing those blue pellets. So he really wants as much power from that in this fight and just keep on shooting it. One thing about Shepard is he's pretty far away, so for us to have those like powerful prominence hits all hit and the chakrams to hit, he needs to be kind of close, so he's like being a little bit closer to the edge. Because of that, he doesn't want to be too far away. If you're too far away, you get a better eye scope on like the red projectiles coming towards you, but yeah, so it makes it a little bit harder when you're standing a bit closer. But
yeah, there's the overdrive being absorbed by vacuum wave.
Yeah, that overdrive just did no damage.
I definitely just did that for this. I didn't do that on purpose. Or I didn't do that on accident. That was on purpose so that everyone can see what it looks like when it does happen.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
good
no
job
problem. You're welcome.
demonstrating that.
You're welcome. Can I get some claps for vacuum wave overdrive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up this boss. So if you do want to do some more donations, Curry, feel free.
I sure do. All right, folks, that $22 donation train is leaving the station, and with it are some passengers. $22 from Renee, $22 from Amy Xandrite, Let's Go Math, and $22 from Jeremy, Bring on the Balatro. Thank you so much for joining me in that donation train. How about we set up our next one, because we're now over $22,000 on that Balatro incentive. Wow. All right, folks, how about this? A $33 donation train. We're upping the ante here, folks, all right? Help me chip into this and chip into our donation total here. gdq.gg/donate. $33 donation train, we'll say, leaves, I don't know, 10 minutes from now at 23 minutes into this run. So, folks, queue up those $33 donations.
Getting a little bit of the Expedition 33 hype.
Maybe, there we go.
Yeah.
So what you might also see me doing when I'm coming off of grapples is you can do some bunny hops using the momentum that you're getting from grapples that are in the air. So if you do see me, like instead of going back to doing the dash melee movement, I'm trying to like bunny hop. It's because I have momentum that I got either from a grapple or I got it from like an eclipse thread, for example. This biome is also another one that has a lot of like the lockdown RNG. But before we get to that, first we have a very fun parry skip that Chaddington can talk a bit about, Mr. Doug.
Yes, sir. So we get another bubble bounce here off of this pipe right here. Normally you have to go through a whole bunch of side rooms and you would have to then talk to an NPC in order to unlock one of the key tech items in the game, which is a parry that lets you parry these red bullets here. But that skip he just did skips completely past the NPC dialogue and the parry. So in Fresh File, you're just left without a parry at all. Thankfully, since this is new game, though, we still have the parry from the first playthrough, so.
Yep, exactly. It does save time if I get it immediately in all bosses. How I just did it, I 100% lost time. But sometimes you gotta aura farm at these events, you know? I can't just do the boring stuff.
Yeah, well, the bubble bounces are very, like, directional input dependent. So if your joystick's just a little bit off, sometimes you won't get the bounce that you need or the height that you need, so.
Yeah, the lineups matter a lot for them.
Yep, so here we have a lockdown. All we're doing here is in order to activate the elevator to get to the boss Legion, we have to go up 2 towers and activate the elevator buttons. So this is going to mostly just be me traversing these 2 sections and climbing these towers and hoping that we don't get any lockdowns. So while I clear these 2 side rooms, Curry, feel free to get in a couple more donations.
You betcha. Give me 1 second, because, whoa. Okay, folks, from the Yeti, we've got $10,000. Whoa. Let's go. Hey, all, Yeti here. We've loved seeing so many people wearing and sharing pieces from our official SGDQ collection at the event and on stream. Thanks for stopping by our booth and picking up a tea or two. A special shout out to the fine folks running our table. Thank you, JC, Orion, Steve, and Steph. If you like some of the teas you're seeing, stop by theyeti.com when our official SGDQ collection is available, with proceeds from every item sold go directly to MSF. Thank you so much, the Yeti. That brought us almost to $33,333 on that Balatro run. So, folks, that $33 donation train is coming up soon. So if you want to get in on that, now is a great time to do so. Thank you.
Awesome, yeah, keep donating to more Balatro is fun for everybody, but let's make sure we hit that. Upcoming here, we have Legion, where I've tasked B-Dud with the chance to try to explain this boss before we kill it. So go ahead and do your best, B-Dud.
This is Legion. It has like a lot of little parts flying around in one center part, and Cave's just going to show us how Legion just doesn't want to exist. Because, yeah, we're already on the second phase here. Like, it's supposed to fly around, and it will, like, start, like, doing these like really hard like projectiles where you want to space yourself between them, but because
you're done. Cut
off. Done. Okay. Yeah.
Incredible visual, but it is so fast in this New Game Plus category.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how awesome, like how we can optimize the DPS on the New Game Plus runs here. Because like, you know, like casually when you're going into this, like I think there's like a certain design aspect from going from like the third world or the third biome to the fourth biome. That was the fourth biome that we just finished. This is the third biome here now. But yeah, it kind of feels like it's a more challenging aspect in Fresh File where you come and you're just trying to survive. In this, like, because we're just trying to optimize the DPS and show off all the systems together, it's a really cool perspective on how you don't have to worry about all the little intricate little guys trying to kill you, and you can just focus on maximizing that damage.
Yeah, and we've talked a bit about the different categories. So our two like main overarching ones is all bosses, and then we have Fresh File. So all bosses is where you're able to, you know, utilize that full armor matrix, and like have, you know, a fully fleshed out Arjun with all his abilities, whereas Fresh File is you're starting from a blank slate. So I think, you know, this game has a lot of interesting categories. We have IL runs, and then of course you can choose between glitched and glitchless, modifiers or no modifiers. So I do think with Saros, if, you know, you're interested in getting more out of the game, there's a speed run for everyone on the leaderboard.
Ooh, nice bubble bounce.
Nice bubble bounce.
Yeah, we can't use that one in Fresh File, unfortunately, because you just like lose Overdrive. So Overdrive ultimately is saving a lot more time than that little skip does. Which, have we talked about Overdrive, really? Do you guys want to talk a bit about like what Overdrive is? And like, I mean, you've seen it happen in
it's
the damage.
Yeah, it's you can think of it as your like ultimate ability in a way. Like it's gonna be your big power move that takes a moment to like charge up, power up to be able to use. And like it's what we're using most of the time to do the big damage on the bosses. But
Clean.
Yeah, like. You can tell it's like the special ultimate ability when you have to press both L3 and R3 to activate it. I feel like most games are in that, like, yeah, that's how you do your special ability.
And coming up, we have a very scary boss and unique boss, Rabdon, if you want to talk about that, B-Dub.
Oh yeah, this is such a crazy boss. So he's gonna spawn, and the health bar is not gonna appear right away. Once he drops right now, we can start dealing damage to him. So look at the health bar at the top when it appears in like 2 seconds. Yeah, we already, like it shows all the damage that we're doing before it even pops up. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, it's the only boss with one health bar. We're not sure why, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, they wanted to design. Yeah, he only has one phase, one health bar. So I remember when I went through this boss casually, I'm like, I went through it. I thought it was a mini boss, and I got the trophy. I'm like, wait, that was the real boss.
Yeah, where's the second phase? You know,
but I think it's like also a way to like set up a lot of the mini bosses that will show up in like the solar cages like later on after that biome. So because the mini boss is very similar to that Rabdon boss.
Yeah, and now here we have a big glitch. So this is where any Housemarque devs watching, just close your eyes for like a minute. We would appreciate that. Doug, you want to talk a bit about this glitch and like the history of it?
Yeah. So this glitch is a crazy one, but it's gone through about, I would say, 3 or 4 different iterations of it.
First bubble bounce is crazy.
And he just got that first try, which is amazing, guys.
Getting that first try is insane.
And what this does, in this biome, you have to go through 2 paths, one to the left and one to the right. And it's a massive trek, lots of scary enemies. But this gets us right through the boss door that's locked and makes it so we don't have to go on those side paths. So he's just walking right now above the boss arena. And he's just going to go right down.
Yeah, and now we're in Bastion. So
we're already here.
B-Dub, feel free to talk a bit about what this fight's about.
Yeah, so this boss will, it has 3 phases. We're already done with first one, and it's going to spawn 5 turrets here, all right? So Cave is going to really quickly, as soon as each turret spawns, get it as fast as possible, and now we're going to do second phase. For after this phase, it's going to spawn 8 turrets, and the first one are going to have shields, so he has to be very close. That's pretty good RNG.
That's really good turret RNG for those.
And now he's going to go back to try to spot all of them as fast as possible. But yeah, the big time save here is getting the right turret RNG to kill them fast. And then we finish with a big overdrive, and yeah, we're done. Good job.
Really good.
Next, we're going to go ahead and go actually to the first biome now. And I don't feel like we don't have a whole lot to talk about there. So Curry, feel free to go ahead and get us some more donations.
Quick question for y'all. Have you done Legion yet?
We did. Legion was came and gone pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Got it. Hey, that's all good. That means Erica, who sends in $25, already got to see that because they had a boss suggestion. Legion. And it goes on for a while.
Sorry,
so thank you for that. Yeah, that's all good. Remember, folks, that $33 donation train is almost ready to leave the station. I want to see those $33 donations in to get that Balatro seeded Nan if run. We're at 32,000 right now. I want to see us reach $33,333 with that $33 donation train. So folks, gdq.gg/donate. Make sure to apply your donation to that Balatro incentive, and we'll see it met.
I believe in you, Chad. You can do it.
Come on, Chad.
Yeah, feel free to do like 2 or 3 more, Curry.
You got it. All right. $100 from Heath Chu, who says, shout out to the runners learning this game so quickly, and to the baddie Rahul Kohli, less than 3. Also $25 from Asif Frakhet, who says, I finished SAROS last week. Can't wait to see how a game that took me 20 plus hours to beat can be destroyed in under an hour, even on New Game Plus. Happy running.
Happy running.
To give a little bit of a perspective too, like even though Fresh File is like the survivability is harder and stuff, it's not like too extremely far off from New Game Plus either. Like we're looking at like somewhere around a 45 minute time for New Game Plus, and Fresh File is what, like 55 minutes? Like it adds like 10 minutes. It's like
the power ramps up really quickly as
well. Yeah. So it is nice that we can like get through all these bosses despite like either we're trying to optimize our DPS in a fast category like New Game Plus, or we're trying to just really like the survivability gets really hard and we have to play it a little bit more slow and steady. Like it's nice that it's still like kind of maintained and fast paced like that throughout.
Yeah, and then with these runs, like, you know, obviously like with modifiers, it's like a bit easy where like we're blasting through bosses. So then it makes a lot of like the smaller things a lot more important, like worrying about RNG. Like in that section, normally I like to do the traversal sprint, but I couldn't because I didn't take care of some of the smaller enemies. So it's a lot of like smaller thinking to get that extra time save to get, you know, better runs. But here we have the first boss of the game, actually, Prophet. So Bido, you want to talk about a bit about how this boss works?
Yeah, so this boss is iconic. So as the first one, it has like a bit more 3 longer, more quote-unquote scripted phases where it starts out with those kind of like pods or flowers on the sides that we're going to have to go through, and then the middle opens up for us to deal a lot more damage. As it gets further, it's going to try to center us into to try to like make it more dramatic. We'll try to destroy him before it gets too dramatic though. But yeah.
This next phase is the important one because we should be able to get overdrive before we kill the first half of this phase. And if we do that, we're actually able to skip having to kill all of these flowers a second time, which is a pretty big time save because obviously you can see here now in like the second health bar, there's a lot more flowers to deal with on the side. So I'm just going to try to collect some extra power just to make sure we're able to do that, even if it makes it a little slower. So one more, and here we have overdrive. We can shoot it and we skip a phase there.
Nice, good job.
That was great.
And then last phase, we're just blasting away trying to finish it off. And we didn't talk a lot about like the different orb colors and what they mean. So the blue ones, you're safe to absorb whenever. Yellow, you can absorb, but it also builds corruption, which is really the only like scary part of the run is if you accidentally absorb too much corruption. And then red, which if you try to absorb, it just breaks your shield. I think, I don't know if you've actually been keeping track for me, B-Dud, I think we're on our last boss here.
Yes, this should be the last one, so...
All right, and this is the big one. This is Priestess. So,
yes.
You know, Doug, do you want to talk a bit about what you're meant to do in this biome, and then maybe what we're going to do to try to avoid that?
Yeah, so this is similar. You've heard this a few times already, but there's a left path and a right path, right? We've talked about that a few times. And a lot of enemies, a lot of rooms, a lot of lockdowns on both sides of the paths. On this one, you could barely see at the top of the screen there, but there's 2 shackles, one on either side of the room, and you're meant to go through the paths and then get each of the shackles on each of the paths. But we're gonna do one of the paths, do a little trickery, and we're going to get both of the shackles without having to do the second path. So keep your eyes open for it. You'll see another bubble bounce coming up here soon.
Yeah. The out of bounds up here is pretty insane, I'd say. Like, this is like probably the best place to show off the bubble bounce too. That and the Bastion out of bounds, those were really sick. But yeah, this one's probably like the longest biome, I'd say, because of these two side shackle rims. We tried looking into if we could like get into it out of bounds early, but I don't think the shackles are active.
Yeah, and then for these teleporters, the reason I cleared out all the enemies there and didn't just run past them is because in order to actually activate those, you can't have any enemies nearby. So ideally up here, we do have a pattern where the bubble bounce works, because we're not sure why, but not every room pattern or designation like works. So I'll make a gut check. It looks like on estimate I'm doing pretty good, so maybe we'll send it and do another one. But right here we're gonna find out if we got a good bubble bounce or not.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's a tough one.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I didn't get it there, but we at least have a room that it works for. So
you can see that shackle upside down there. He's trying to get to it. There we
Sick.
go. Very nice, Kevin.
all right, and now this is the tough part where there's a lot of kill planes we got to worry about and deal with, but we're going to actually now go across while being upside down to the other half and get to the other shackle. So there's a lot of like invisible walls we're dealing with here, and kill zones that I'm trying to jump around and doing bubble bounces with. We haven't really developed good lineups for them yet, so I'd kind of just do vibe-based lineups. So like that's not high enough. I'm gonna make sure I stay over here so I don't hit a kill plane.
You got it.
And then, yeah, I don't know, Doug, you want to talk a bit about how you and Remy actually found Bubble Bounce?
Oh, so Bubble Bounce was crazy. Me and Remy were, shout out to the French community for this game. We were actually in Discord calls in the marsh going through, and we actually just got stuck. We got stuck in an out of bounds portion, and Remy was trying to get out of the out of bounds and just found it by accident. So sometimes being stuck is your best friend, helps you fight through it.
Yeah, so here, I think I'm taking a little too long, so it might have been faster to do it normally, but, at GDQ, we gotta, again, we're aura farming, we're doing all the cool stuff. I do have an IL run for this where I do get all of them just, like, immediately. So that's a pretty cool representation of it. This one in particular is pretty tough to get the right angle. But we'll keep going until we get it. While I'm working on this, Curry, we probably got time for another donation.
You got it, folks. Oh wow, the number's changing. I can totally do math. We're under $100 away from reaching 33,333 towards that $77,000 Balatro incentive, folks. That requires 3 more tickets on that $33 donation train. So please send them in, and maybe we'll see that Balatro incentive. This is helped along by a few donors, including a couple of tickets actually. One from Erky and one from Hilda, who both say choo choo, and one from Nick V. Masher says GDQ hype.
Hype.
I've also got more love from your community if you're ready to have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got $50 from Babbler31, who says, so stoked to see Cave run SAROS. Watched him play Returnal at AGDQ years ago. Been a member of Celine's squad since. Let's go, Cave. Let's go, MSF.
Let's go, MSF.
We could do one more, I think, before this boss.
We've got $55 from Jay, who says, I'm sorry, I'm at the station early. Can I reserve my seat? You totally can, because you totally saw where I'm going with this. So, folks, if you want to get in your tickets for the $44 donation train, that leaves in, let's say, at 44 minutes into this run, which might be at the end of the run. But, folks, let's start queuing up those tickets for $44 for that Balatro seated Nan if run. gdq.gg/donate.
Yeah, so we're actually on the final boss. Vito, you want to talk a bit about Priestess?
Yeah, so right there, Priestess starts with 3 clones, and we want to try to get through 2 as fast as possible. What Cave just did right there is when the singular Priestess came together, we timed an overcharge to kill them off so that it doesn't go back to the clone phase, which is queued up at like 1/3 health. Now for the second phase here, we want to try to kill the 2 clones again, because it's going to skip basically these shackles to come out if we do it in time.
Yeah, so I mean, the shackles are out. I'm going to do it this way anyways, because it's still faster ultimately, but definitely didn't do it super well. Oh my gosh, I did it really poorly actually. All right, here we go. So yeah, so there you're meant to go and destroy 3 different shackles to get Priestess to become damageable. But if you destroy 2 of the big ones, it will actually, make it so you don't have to go and do those shackles. And you're meant to do it twice. And if you do it immediately the way I just did it, you don't have to do it at all. This is the one time we do actually have to destroy shackles. And again, we're going to do a phase skip where we're going to use overdrive at the right time to skip having to do the shackles a second time during this phase. But time will be coming up when this health bar is done actually. So I'm going to try to time this out right so that, I have 0 power. That's a little awkward. I only have a little bit of power to work with here. There we go. Hopefully that's not too much. That was too much. So we're gonna have to do the second set of shackles. The timing on that is a little brutal. And then run by run, we talked a bit about how, all the weapons have different traits associated with them. And the prominence especially, some traits have a tendency to do way more damage than others. So there, unfortunately, I had too much damage, which is something, normally wouldn't hear, but time's coming up now. Time. Sweet. Yeah, 33. That's this is going to sound very silly to say. At the start, we talked a lot about how there's a lot of variables, but that is a world record, technically.
That is a world record.
Probably also the only run in that category, but we'll take it.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
To be fair, even though it's the only one in that category, this is the fastest recorded all bosses run.
Absolutely.
So it's we'll count it. With that, we can do some quick shout outs. Obviously shout out Beta, Duck, being here helping me out. Shout out our community. If this community wasn't the first that I joined for when I started my speedrunning foray, I probably wouldn't have stuck around with the hobby. So appreciate all of you guys in that Discord that are great to hang out with. And then shout out my fiance for supporting me coming out here doing this while we should be wedding planning. So love you, can't get married. Beta, Duck, you guys got any shout outs?
I don't got anything from me. How about you, Duck?
I just want to say thanks to GDQ, everyone out there. I see you guys. Appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, big shout out all the people in the background. They're
Exactly.
absolutely crushing it, and you guys are doing an awesome job.
You guys are doing great. Thank you. And keep donating to Doctors Without Borders and MSF.
Yep, thank you, everybody.